You know, not that I always read left-wing blogs, but I got an earful from, can you get an earful from a blog? Well, I got a lot of criticism from a blog and others saying my comparison to Donald Trump and JFK was at best a stretch. My only point in making that comparison, one that would probably have JFK rolling in his grave, is that that press conference yesterday at Trump's, in which he announced that he was signing that Republican pledge to stay a Republican, not bolt to a third party, was very similar to the number of questions and the quick responses we would see out of the Kennedy press conference. Kennedy had about 63 during his brief presidency. And in an average press conference, he would take in about 35 to 40 questions, maybe more. In an average Obama press conference lasting more than an hour, maybe 10, maybe less. In Donald Trump's press conference yesterday, close to 30 in 26 minutes. So I want you to make this comparison here. Quick, quick, bullet, bullet, fast, fast. Take a look.
I don't want to talk about that here. It's inappropriate.
I have no statement on it at the present time.
You'll see it later. Yeah. They don't want to hear it. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I didn't. No, this is completely the Defense Department.
No, I see no circumstances under which I would tear up that pledge.
Now, a lot of you back home are saying, you guys edited that. Yes, we did. But we could, because it couldn't go on. And the comparisons are not wanting, and I want to keep them roughly equal in size. But the bottom line is those numbers are roughly what I told you. Rapid fire delivery, a president 50 plus years ago recognizing that people have relatively short attention spans, and as did he. And if he didn't feel like answering a question, he didn't. And if he wanted to say, I don't know, he did. Donald Trump doing much the same. Now, their styles are different in many other respects. Their substance different in many respects. But that press conference did prove another example why Donald Trump is resonating with folks who in this very media competitive age don't have time for nonsense. Alexis Levinson on the benefits of that rapid fire style, both then and now. What do you think, Alexis?
I mean, from a reporter's perspective, he's kind of a dream. Donald Trump sits there, he takes tons of questions. He has a hard time leaving the mic. I think you saw that yesterday.
Yeah, remember he would say, what last two questions? Last two, and then 12 questions later.
Yeah, last question. And then, I was watching it on TV, and the station kept cutting in because they thought he was done. And then he'd come back to the mic and be like, oh, no, I'm not done. Let me answer another question here.
Why is that important? I mean, we all make fun of him, sometimes some of his answers, his prickly style. But I've always argued there's no unspoken thought. He is direct, clear. He can be rude to somebody. He will quickly say, I don't know, I'm not going to answer that, or I'll talk to you later about that. But it moves. I think everyone, at least all the reporters in that room, had a chance to ask a question, as they did during the days of JFK, not so with Barack Obama. What are we to make of that, and how that changes the tone, tenor, and even popularity of how intriguing a press conference can be?
Well, there's an authenticity to it. I mean, like you said, when he doesn't want to answer a question, he just says, I'm not going to answer that. Whereas a lot of other candidates, you sit there and you watch them and they dance around it for 2 minutes and they almost sort of filibuster because they don't really want to answer it, but they're going to kind of wind you on for a while about something they do want to talk about. He just says, nope, I'm done. I don't want to talk about it. And when you ask him a direct question, he gives you a direct answer, which is, I think that's compelling for voters. I think there's a genuineness that's missing from a lot of the political process.
Alexis, in my younger days, I used to go to a lot of annual meetings and then a lot of company annual meetings. And some of the best ones that I can remember were like the likes of Jack Welch at GE or Lee Iacocca at Chrysler, because, obviously dissidents could come into those shareholder meetings. And in rapid fire delivery, they'd respond to them or have quick response, but they made it animated and inviting rather than long, ponderous toward affairs. And I'm beginning to wonder whether that's what Americans are thirsting for. Why does everything have to be so ponderous? Why does everything have to be so weighty and long? And maybe it is besmirching the institution or however you want to describe it, but people don't have time for this, right? The nonsense and the lengthy answers, right?
Well, I mean, there's a reason we talk about, we say political reporters, no one's really paying attention right now except for us. But Donald Trump is making people pay attention, and I agree. I think that's part of it. He is a candidate made for the kind of attention deficit age where we get all our news on Twitter in 140 characters, and we don't want to sit there and listen to these long-winded answers. And he doesn't do it. He tweets, he, spits out a sentence and answer, and we're done.
What I would like is if he did become president, he would just tell me, shut up, shut up. Get out of here. It would be entertaining. Alexis,
It would
not
be
that he
very
would
entertaining.
ever do that to you. Alexis Levinson, National Review, senior political reporter. Thank you.